So I don't know where that. I guess that's weird. My phone cut off. So anyway, I don't know where it went, or what. I don't know what was recorded and what wasn't. So maybe I need to redo this. Anyway, so I remember I was talking about the billboard sign that I had, and that I had wrapped the campsite and created a compound out of the billboard sign, and used part of the tarp billboard as a tarp. So anyway, this is the frame. I've since dismantled all that, and the reason is as I accumulated stuff, I started realizing that I couldn't build it where I was at, and that was kind of a temporary structure anyway. I wanted to build something more permanent, but I hadn't really had all the resources to be able to put it together until I got them. And when I got them, I started to see spots and other places where I might be able to create something. So I dismantled all of the billboard stuff, the compound. Oop, set this down. And I don't know if you can see it, but here. So all of this stuff in here, these were frames, just pieces of wood, trees, limbs that I had kind of put together. This is grapevine, and I ran the compound all the way down here, around here, back and through there, and then back around down in there. But I needed the materials. So, and this is the area down in here, which I'm gonna get a little closer. Is where my tent was and my tarps. This is all grapevines, overgrowth, and one of my old trails that goes up and out. And see how high the trees are. I mean, that's this tree up here, that's a good 60, 70 feet high. From there down, and then I'm down here. So it's and these trees, I don't know if you can see them right through there. They're the same way. They're about 70 feet high. And if you look, I don't know, you see that right down in there, that area down in there. It's a long way away, but that area is the bottom. So from that bottom, from way down there all the way up here, it's almost 100 feet. And there's a drainage. This is, you kind of see a little dark area right in there. That's part of a drainage area. And then back that comes down this way, and there's a creek that runs down that way, and then another creek that comes up this way that all that drains into. Hang on a second. So anyway, let's walk on down here. Anyway, so yesterday I came up in here to get I got off track. I ramble sometimes, so I hope you can stand some of these videos, but it is what it is. Oh, let's see, put that back down. So I took a took a walk up to my patch and found my stuff, and had a piece of metal that I dragged back over this way because I found something to use. And when I got right here yesterday morning, it's gone. matter of fact. So yesterday morning, I get here, and there's a deer right here, and there's a deer back over in there. There's a buck over there, and there's another female right over there. There's 3 females right in here, and another buck back over there. And it kind of surprised me, but there's about 8 of them that live in these woods here, and you wouldn't believe it's like Dr. Doolittle up in here. The wild zoo is crazy. There are so many animals that you'd never believe that are here. And about over a year ago, I heard a noise, and I looked down, and here were 2 fawns that the mother had placed them near me, not far away, I guess, not realizing where I was, and or that I was nearby, and left them there. And they kind of hunkered down overnight. It was kind of cold, and they were trying to stay warm, and they saw me, and I saw them, and I just left them alone, and got probably 10 feet from them. But those little fawns turned out to be females, grew up, and I'm almost certain that that's the deer that were here, because they're unafraid of me. I can get 10 feet from them, maybe 15 feet, and they don't run. I don't chase them. I don't startle them. They just look at me, and I look at them. But yesterday morning, I got that thing right there, piece of foam, and I put it back up here real close to him, and put down some oatmeal and some bread that I had gotten at a food bank. All of it I get at the food bank. Remember, I don't have any money, so everything I get is free and given to me. So anyway, things I got to eat too, so I knew I wouldn't eat that bread, and I threw it out on that little piece of foam down there, and by God, it's gone. They ate it. That's really cool. But anyway, you see that old dumpster right there? That's an old BF dumpster, recycling bin that was back up here in the dump site, and it had a crunched side, had kind of melted down or burnt or something, I don't know. But I got to thinking, I got to having a problem talking about critters. Critters. Back in my other tent site, there was something, I don't know. I thought it was a possum, then I thought it was raccoons, and I wasn't sure what it was. But it kept getting into some of my food, and so I saw this thing, and it had been. This is an old style. I mean, if you can look at the metal on it. That's old. That's got to be from the I don't know, 70s, 80s, something like that. And somebody had thrown it down in there because it was, I don't know, pretty worthless. But I got to looking at it, and it wasn't dirty inside, and I thought, I wonder, maybe I could stick my food down in there. So it had a bungee strap on it. You see it right there. It's that little bungee strap. And I thought, well, yeah, I could clean it out, which I did, and wipe it down really good, and stick my things that animals were getting into, and keep the mice and stuff out. So I used it at my old site, and it worked well. I never had any problems if I put something in there until I brought it over here, and worked well here when I had my tent here, until it didn't. Until they figured it out. Until what I learned were raccoons. And oh my God, the raccoons. I had, there's a family of them around here, and there's about 4 or 5 of them. And those little bastards, they get into everything. When they get hungry, they're ravenous. They argue, they fight, they cuss, they piss and moan, they tear up everything, they cause a mess. They are just an annoyance. Cute as hell, but they're kind of like one of your children that you get that's a little bit troubled. You love him to death, but he's just mischievous, and you know he's going to be doing something. Well, that's the way raccoons are. And they would come around about anywhere from 2:30 in the morning to about 4:35 in the morning, that little span of time. And the marauders, they would come through, a whole band of bandits, and they would just jump into everything. And it was all around my tent, because my tent was on this spot right here, right here, all the way down. And so I had my food in here and my food in there. Well, those little bastards learned how to unhook that bungee cord, and they got in there and they ate everything. And so and they were getting in first under that little hole on the side. So I put a piece of wood over it. I tied it up real good so they couldn't get in there, and that worked for a minute. And then they figured out how to push that off, and I could hear them at night. They'd wake me up invariably, and they'd jump on that top of that thing, and they'd screw around with that bungee cord, and finally they figured out how to get it open. And once they did, it was over with. It was not safe anymore, so I quit using that, abandoned that, and it's full of crap. They even if they didn't eat it, they destroyed it, because they would bite the bags. If it was coffee, and I had all kinds of coffee in there that somebody had given me, and they bit into every damn bag. Coffee goes everywhere. Pasta, they'd eat some pasta, a box of macaroni. Oh my God, they'd eat the cheese, powder, but they wouldn't want the noodles, so the noodles would be everywhere, and it just got to be crazy. So anyway, make a long story short, I quit feeding the critters with my contraption, and they quit stopping by. But found out that but get this, it's not just raccoons. Just to give you an account, in this area, which just doesn't, there are houses that run all the way back around on this side, and it's constant for half a mile. And on the other side, up here, there's businesses. This is all businesses. And this is behind everything and down in this holler. And you wouldn't expect it to be as wild as it is. But there are at least 5 raccoons, the whole family of them. And I found out that the worst thing is the woodchucks, or the groundhogs, however you want to call it, marmot-looking things. These things are everywhere. There must be 5 of those in here, and they're all kind of independent. And they got marmot holes. Here, let me flip this back around. They got marmot holes. Well,